Support for Sports Page is provided by the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jennies emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower level of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.
Coming up on Sports Page, Mules basketball has won 6 straight games. Men's heads basketball coach Kim Anderson joins us in studio to talk about the recent MIAA matchups.
And Jennies basketball is coming off a 3-game winning streak with 1 game on the road and little time to rest. I'll catch up with head coach Dave Slifer to see how the Jennies are doing. All that and more is straight ahead on this week's edition of the UCM Sports Page.
Welcome back to Sports Page. I'm Alex Greenlee.
And I'm Devin Negretti. In our Sports Page Spotlights this week, we'll meet with Mules senior guard / forward Charles Hammork and Jennies senior guard BreAnna Lewis.
But first, our sideline reporter Katie Bailey has the highlights from the MIAA matchup at the Blackout game this past week. Let's take a look.
I'm here in the multi-purpose building in Warrensburg, Missouri, where UCM Mules faced against SBU Bearcats in their annual Blackout game. The Blackout game is to show support for the team and our school. Let's take a look at the highlights. The Blackout game started with a tip-off from Dylan Deck, giving the Bearcats first possession. The Mules' defensive was aggressive, allowing few points per possession. Dylan Deck was a formidable offense force in the paint, along with Charles Hammork and Dalen Robinson. Nice shot from Charles Hammork. He always has a good connection to the hoop, really helping his team out. Dylan Deck took a number of fouls in the first half, going 3 for 5 at the line. Dylan's a powerful starting center. He's in a great position to pull a lot of mistakes out of the defense to his advantage. Ryan Magjash dropped 6 points outside the arch. Very familiar shot by Ryan. The fans are very used to seeing it. They love it. Supporting points from John Gillum outside the arch. Here to Charles Hammork again. He's a great option to pass to, super confident with the ball, and he's not afraid to take a chance. The Mules know how to spread the defense out. They really keep the ball moving, and John Gillum is always there on the outside, ready to take the 3. Deck scores a layup with an assist from Kyle Wolf. That was a great teamwork between the guys, great layup. Dalen Robinson takes a foul from the Bearcats in a layup. Dalen scored about 11 points in the game, 5 of them being goals, 2 of them being outside the arch. Deck scores 2 points for the Mules in the paint. This has been his territory, definitely something really familiar to him. Defense had a lot of trouble stopping him. Robinson not far behind Deck, scoring 2 more points in the paint. They're really giving the Bearcats' defense a hard time. At the half, the Mules were up by 6. They look really great coming out on the court. Great teamwork between JT White and Dylan Deck in the second half. TJ White scores a layup, making his total point 17, the highest score for the team. A foul against the Bearcats' defense, allowing John Gillum to shoot a free throw. John has really shown his colors this year, really stepping out for the team. He's become a great leader. He's fast and careful with his shots. You can't seem to tie this kid down. Great play by Charles Hammork, helping the team score 2 more points in the second half. That was a nice save from Dylan Deck, who assists Ryan Magjash with a 3-pointer. That was a great form of teamwork, awesome shot from Ryan. The players really trust each other with the ball, which is a great strength for the Mules basketball team. You can really see it between Dalen Robinson, Preston Bruns, and TJ White. Here comes Robinson again, charging down the court. He runs circles around the Bearcats' defense. You can really see how big communication and just knowing where the other players are for the Mules can really help score some major points for the game. Assist from Dalen Robinson to TJ White puts another 2 points for the Mules. Assist from Dalen Robinson to TJ White puts another 2 points for the Mules. Preston Bruns is a great team player. He's always seeing open passes, and this time he helped assist Dylan Deck for another 2 points for the Mules. In the final minutes of the game, Charles Hammork puts another 2 points on the board with a layup. I'm here with TJ White, UCM Mules player. TJ, how are you doing today?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing awesome. Despite all the snow and the cold, there were so many people here today in the stadium dressed in all black to come support you guys. How does that feel as a team?
Well, it feels good that we have so many supporters and people that come out to watch us and like watching us play.
What do you guys think about today's turnout? How did you guys think that you guys played?
We played very good on defense, and I think we played pretty well. We came out with the win, so we can't complain.
Right, you really can't, can you? This is your 10th straight win against the Bearcats. How does that feel as a team? What did you guys work on to make it have a 10?
We just taking it one game at a time. Coach didn't even tell us that, so that's good history, so I'm glad we could do that.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
I'm glad we keep it going.
Is there any last comments you'd like to say about the game?
I just want to thank all my teammates. We played hard. We're ready for the next one.
Awesome. Thank you so much, TJ. Reporting for Sports Page, I'm Katie Bailey.
Southwest Baptist 56. Mules are 18-4 on the season after that game, 10-3. Joining us now to talk Mules basketball is men's head basketball coach Kim Anderson. Coach, welcome back to Sports Page.
Great to be here.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you here. First off, I want to say Central Missouri is third all-time in the NCAA Division II men's basketball standings, 1,605 wins. What does that mean to you, this team, and this program?
Well, there's been a lot of history and a lot of tradition in this program. I think that if you go back, there's been some really outstanding coaches and players over the years, and for myself, I've been fortunate to be a part of it the last 12 years. And it's not, it's a lot of different aspects, a lot of good players, a lot of good assistant coaches, great support from our administration, and great fan support. So we have a good tradition, good history, and we got to keep it going.
Certainly. TJ White for the Southwest Baptist game. TJ White, 8 for 8 from the field, 17 points on the bench. Hammork had 14 points and 8 rebounds. Deck had 13 points. Talk about the big keys to success during that win for you guys.
Well, I think that we've preached a lot about our defense this year, and in the SBU game, I thought we did a pretty good job of containing their outside shooters. They're an outstanding three-point shooting team. Got a great player on the inside, Desi Barmore, and I thought we did a great job of containing him and not giving them a lot of open looks from the three. So that was kind of the key to our game going in. We felt like that they're a very good team. They can shoot the ball well. They got a good inside presence. And we didn't talk a whole lot about offense. We were more concerned with controlling their shooters.
Certainly. I want to talk about TJ White here because Katie had the opportunity to interview him after the game. What has made him and your bench so effective this season?
Well, I think one of the great things that has happened to us is it was good and bad. The year started out, we had some injuries. We had different guys get the opportunity to step up and play. And in TJ's case, TJ's an energy guy. He's an undersized four-man, if you were to put him in a position, or a wing player. Not a tremendous shooter, doesn't pretend to be a tremendous shooter, but he really is good at getting to the basket. An excellent defender. I've been more impressed lately with his defense than anything. I think it's gotten better. We looked at him as a lockdown type guy, and he's certainly shown that lately. He's just playing with more energy, and obviously you get more confidence. And when that happens, you tend to play a lot better.
Well, certainly. You guys did play well in this game, obviously. You got the win. You also had 40 points in the paint. How were you guys able to get down there so much?
Well, that's one of our primary focuses. We feel like that we've got some strong inside players. Dylan Deck has played extremely well lately. Brennan Hughes, coming off of the knee injury, has given us some good minutes. Ryan Donald is kind of a 4-5 type player who can go in the paint. Sean O'Brien's only a freshman, but it's really given us a lift when he's been able to get into the game. And then we like to get the ball to the basket. You know, again, Chuck Hammork's a guy who takes the ball to the hole. TJ's a guy who scores most of his points around the basket. Dalen drives in. So, you know, we feel like, you know, I'm not very smart, but the closer you get to the basket, the better your percentage is. And our guys have done a good job, especially over the last, I'd say 5 or 6 games. I think we've done a good job of getting the ball to Deck, and he's been able to make plays.
Well, certainly he has, and it's not just Deck that's making plays. Off the bench, your team combined for 24 points against the Bearcats. You know, how is it knowing you can go into a game and you've got more than just the starting 5 that can get the job done and at a high level?
Well, it's a good feeling, and it's something we've tried to build over the year. You know, as the season's going on, we had 10 new players, and so that was a challenge, I think, to get those 10 guys or get the new guys to kind of figure out what we wanted to do. And it took some time, and it's still a work in progress. But our bench has been strong. You know, we've had guys come off the bench, and you know, a guy I think of is Ryan Magdziarz. You know, he's a guy who started some early in the year, but we feel like him coming off the bench gives us a great pickup. And, you know, he's a guy who can score. This guy shoots the ball well. So bringing him off the bench is kind of a comfortable feeling. And, you know, you got TJ coming off the bench, which is good. Brennan, you know, that's been a real positive for us getting him back. So, you know, all of our guys that have come off the bench have really contributed.
And certainly, and that they have. The Bearcats came into the game, that game winning 3 of their last 4. How are you guys able to really keep them below 30 points below their season average?
Well, you know, we went into the game with the idea that we were going to try to do a good job on their 3-point shooters. We felt like that in order for them to win the game, that they had to make shots from the perimeter. We were able to contain them somewhat, and I think that was kind of a key to the game. You know, they're a team that historically shoots the ball very well. They shoot the ball from the perimeter a lot, from the 3-point line, and we felt like a big key to the game was going to be, hey, you got to get back, stop their transition, get to their shooters, and then keep them from getting second shots. And we did a good job. I was pleased with that game. It was a rough game, tough game, but you know, I was happy that we could follow our game plan.
Certainly, and you guys did follow your game plan. Now, your win against Lincoln, talking about February 12th, gives the Mules their 26th straight win in the multi, dating back to last season and the last game of the last season before that. How does it feel to have the edge at home?
Well, it's good. I wish we had more home games. You know, we have great crowds. You know, this year has been interesting. We've had some games that we've had bad weather, or else I think we would have had even bigger crowds. So the multi is certainly an intimidating place, I think, for opponents to come in and play. I think our guys play with a confidence level in the arena, and of course the support that we get adds to it.
Now, you guys beat Missouri Southern in Joplin on February 8th, 92-97. Dylan Deck had 24 points and 9 boards. How were you guys able to squeeze off that victory?
Well, that was kind of the opposite of what we had thought. You know, we really had put a lot of emphasis on playing good defense, and really that game turned into a shootout. But we did, at the beginning of it, we were down at the half by 3. At the beginning of the second half, I thought we played pretty good defense for about 6 or 7 minutes. And that enabled us to get a 10 or 11 point lead. And we kind of kept it at that range for most of the second half until it got down to the end and they made a little bit of a run. We were able to make free throws and put the game away. Great team. Southern's a great team. You know, certainly one of the top teams in our league. And for us to be able to go on the road and beat them after just beating them here a week earlier, certainly I think says a lot for our basketball team.
Well, I certainly would agree with that, Coach. The Mules rolled Lincoln 92-50 and are now 20-4, 12-3 in the MIAA. You had 4 players in double digits in scoring. What was so impressive for you guys during this win?
Oh, I think that it was the way we did it. Lincoln is a team that obviously their record's not as good as they would like for it to be, and I thought that our guys came out in a very businesslike manner, built a 16-point lead at the half, and continued to play in the second half. We didn't let up. We continued to play pretty good defense. We continued to attack their half-court offense, kind of a trapping, pressing type situation. When you play a team that you're supposed to win, you're supposed to beat Lincoln at home. It's impressive when your team comes out and wins by 40 points as opposed to winning by 10. So proud of our guys that they came out with the right energy and attitude to be able to put them away.
Certainly, you guys put them away. That you did, winning by 42 points. What are some things you've done with this team this season that has helped to make them so good?
Oh, we really put a lot of emphasis on defense. We, especially probably in the last 7, 8 games, I felt like that coming out of the Christmas break, we played pretty well early. We hit a little skid at Emporia where we gave up, I think, 96 points. Then we played Northwest at Northwest, and we gave up 80 points. And we just felt like we weren't tuned in defensively. And we've actually spent a lot of time on defense in practices and haven't really spent that much time on offense. We feel like we got some guys that can score, but we really spent the majority of our time talking about how to guard the team we're playing, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and my staff has done a great job with personnel. We've been able to tune in or hone in on different guys. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And been able to play to those strengths and weaknesses.
Certainly. Real quick, Coach, I'm going to put 2 into 1 here. How are you guys able to maintain that energy this season? And is there anything you guys need to improve on for the final stretch of the season?
Oh, I think the energy is just part of guys, being in February and having an opportunity to still win the championship or maybe play in postseason play. I think that we really haven't done much special other than kind of do what we normally do. The chemistry of this team's good, and I think that that's been a big part of it.
Certainly. Well, Coach, that is all the time that we have today. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Mules, thank you for coming in, Coach, once again. The Mules Basketball Spotlight is coming up with Charles Hammork, and Devin Negretti gives us an inside look at Jennies basketball. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Page. Charles Hammork averages over 12 points per game. He's also shooting nearly 53% from the field. Here's the Sports Page Spotlight on Charles Hammork.
Different from this year's team to last year's team, I want to say last year's team, we had more experience and more like drivers. From this year's team, we have like more shooters. And I think a lot of teams from last year used to zone us a lot. And this year, we get more man because we can shoot the ball a lot. So I think that's a big difference. Well, I want to say this season is going great so far. The goal is to win MIAA championship and then go to the tournament and win from there. But like we wasn't picked to win it, and that kind of gave us a chip on our shoulder because we won it back-to-back, and we felt like we should be picked, even though we lost a lot of people. But I feel like Coach Anderson really recruit well and get transferred and put us in a good position to win. His style is pretty much the same. I want to say he added a few plays, like more shooting plays, that's to get our shooters open. And the coach always been aggressive on defense and stuff like that, so I think the defensive side is pretty much the same. Coach Anderson, Coach Luce, even the grad coaches, all of them very cool. I feel like when it's practice time, they're a whole different person, right? They kind of be two-sided, but That's what you need from a good coach, somebody who's gonna push you and make you get after it. And I feel like all of them do that. I'm not sure if you guys know, I just came back the second semester, and it feels like I've been here the whole year because all the guys are pretty much cool. We hang out after practice, after games, like we do stuff as a group, collective. And like, you know, we have a friendship besides basketball, like I want to say. Well, I started playing basketball since I was probably about 6, 7 years old. And really, honestly, I just been around it a lot. I've been around sports. My family play football. I'm like the first person to go to college and play basketball, but I feel like basketball is more exciting. I like to watch football, but I just like basketball more. And people always congratulated me on being good and an aggressive player and stuff like that, so I just kept playing. And I got a scholarship, so I'm gonna use it to my best advantage. I consider myself a leader by leading by action instead of by voice. I'm not very good with talking. Me and Coach A kind of talked about it about me being more talkative because guys look up to me on the team since I was here last year, and I've been a very experienced player and stuff like that, so I try to be a leader by the best I could. My individual goal as a person is to become a better defender, and just as we just talked about previous, being a leader, a vocal leader, and just talking and letting guys know what it be and stuff like that. But the biggest thing is to win the conference. I don't consider myself a superstitious player. There's only one thing I do before a game, and that's say a prayer, and I'm pretty much sure everyone do that, but that's the only thing I do. Why did I choose red? Really because I transferred from a junior college, Coffeyville Community College, and Coach Herkelman is a well-known coach, and this school, Coach Luce was recruiting me, and I just asked Coach Herk about the school, and he gave, everything he said was pretty much like, it's wonderful, the team good, they always in an MIAA conference and stuff like that, and they have a good attendance, which is one thing that I'm really concerned about, and I just like the team and coaches. My mother really, my mother and my father got divorced when I was young, and she just really been on her own with me and my little sister, and she just always worked hard and never gave up, so I just worked for her really, trying to better her life. That's pretty much one question I have about myself, like why the multi? Since I've been here last year, I haven't lost in a multi, and I hope not to lose yet. But I think it's the fans, like the fans just have good energy, exciting, and the football team that's behind the goal, like them guys really get after the other team, and I feel like they really get in the other team's head and make them do things that they really don't want to do.
Hammork is also second on the team in steals with 23. Coming up next, Devin Negretti gives us an inside look at UCM sports results from this past week. Also, she'll sit down with Jennies head basketball coach Dave Slifer. Don't go away.
Welcome back to Sports Page, your home for UCM athletics. Before we talk to Jennies head coach Dave Slifer, let's take a look at all the results for this past week. Jennies bowling finished first at the Bethune-Cookman Wildcat Invitational on February 7th in Dayland, Florida. Mules wrestling fell to Fort Hays State on February 6th, 23-15, but Malachi Collins, Frank Cagnina, Ty Lathan, and Todd Breyer were each able to pull through wins. The Mules then faced Nebraska Kearney February 8th, falling 35-8. UCM track and field competed in the Mule Relays February 7th and 8th. George Harlambus had a provisional mark in long jump, while Heaven Warner threw a personal record in weight throw at 59 feet and 11 inches, making it the 8th best throw in the NCAA Division II. Baseball hit the road to Arkadelphia, Arkansas, where they competed against Ouachita Baptist February 7th through the 9th. In the second game, Jake Hessler pitched 4 1/3 innings with 3 strikeouts. In the final game, Trevor Jones hit a home run with 2 runs scored. Softball season began February 7th with the Jennies on the road playing 3 teams in Arkadelphia. The Jennies fell to Henderson State at first but came back against University of Arkansas at Monticello. The Jennies then beat Henderson State on the 9th, then fell to Ouachita Baptist, leaving the Jennies 2-2 at the start of the season. That's all for this past week of events. Now let's take a look at a few highlights from the Jennies basketball game against the Southwest Baptist Bearcats by our sideline reporter, BreAnna Blocker.
I'm here in Warrensburg, Missouri, at the Multi-Purpose Building, where the Central Missouri Jennies face off the SBU Bearcats at our traditional blackout game that encourages school spirit. Let's take a look at those highlights. BreAnna Lewis passed it to Flax, who made a layup for the first point of the game. The girls did a great job passing the ball, creating opportunities for three-pointers. Rivonia Howard, always a force down low with 6 rebounds of the night. Shelby Winkleman drives in lane, putting up 2 of the 10 points of the night. BreAnna Lewis had a good night, putting up a total of 9 points. Quinicia threw up a 3-point. She was 3 for 4 for the night. Winkleman put up a 3 to start off the second half. So it's a blackout game and there's a boatload of fans. How has this impacted your game?
It really impacted us. We're happy to have all the fans around us supporting us, and we just wanted to come out here and show the crowd a good win.
The girls continued to pass the ball well, allowing for quick 3-point shots in the second half. What was your mindset going into the game, knowing that you lost to them last year?
I was really focused. We were really determined. We've been practicing hard all week, and we were just ready to come out here. We had a loss on our home court against Lindenwood. We were upset about that, and the coach was really excited for us to come back out and really just show the crowd that we can play as a team. We can come out here and win and get them a good show.
You shot a lot of threes in the first half. Is that your specialty?
Well, yeah, it is. I've been coming in the gym every day, working on my three-pointers and just trying to add to my game. I'm good at defense. I like playing defense. I don't really too much worry about offense, but my coach just said if you play your role, your offense will come to you. So I think that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
How did you personally feel about the game today?
I'm just excited we won. I know we cut it down to a 2-point lead, and they took the lead on us. I'm just excited that we won. It was crazy. We got to work on our communication. I'm just happy we won.
Do you have any more thoughts about the game today?
No, I just want to celebrate. We know we got class tomorrow. We got a big game against Southern Saturday.
Well, thank you for your time. I'm BreAnna Blocker reporting for SPORTSPAGE.
The Jennies' win kept them at number 13 and moved them back into first place in the tie in the MIAA standings. The Jennies then hit the road for a win at Missouri Southern, then came back to home grounds to defeat Lincoln University. The team will head for St. Charles February 15th to face the Lindenwood Lady Lions once again. Now joining me is Jennies head coach Dave Slifer. Welcome back to SPORTSPAGE, Dave.
It's great to be here, Devin.
Now, Coach, what a blackout game against those Baptist Bearcats. 67-64. What were your thoughts at the end of the game?
Well, Baptist has always given us a lot of problems. They've got a couple of very, very good players, a couple kids that average 13, 14 points a game, and they're tough matchups for everybody in the league. I thought that we played very well first half, ended up getting about a 9-point lead, and then second half we kind of let up down just a little bit, and Baptist got back into it, but we kept the lead and kept the game going. So we do have to return the game to their place, and they are a very formidable opponent.
What were your thoughts in that second half whenever the Jennies let up a little bit?
Well, all year long, we have played a lot of close games, and we'd like to think that at the end of the year that's going to help us. Wish that we were a little tougher mentally, maybe, so that we could guard people and make sure that we don't have these 3-point games, 1-point games, 2-possession games. But hopefully at the end of the year, we'll look back and say, hey, all those close games helped us out, helped us, win a conference tournament championship, etc.
And Kinesia Twine, she had a great first half with 13 points. Where did that come from?
Nisi's quite a scorer, and she can shoot the three, and I noticed your reporter asked her, is she a 3-point specialist? Well, the thing with Nisi is she can shoot the three, or she can put the ball on the deck and get to the rim. And not only does she create for herself, but she can create for her teammates. She'd been sped up the last couple weeks, but against SBU, she slowed down, made good basketball plays, and I think all her team was extremely happy that she kind of broke out of it and played very, very well.
How did you have her prepare for that in practice?
Well, with Nice, every day she comes in. She's a fairly hard-working kid that if her three's on, it makes her very, very hard to guard because she's a quick kid, so the defense has to get all the way up on her, kind of run her off the 3-point line. And when that happens, as long as she's not sped up, she can drive by people and create for everybody.
There were 4 minutes left in the game against Southwest Baptist. I mean, we kind of already discussed this, but we were leading by 1. Those 4 final minutes. What was going through your mind?
Well, the ball is going to get in Kiana Flax's hand. Kiana Flax, we've dubbed her and nicknamed her Super Flax right now after her performance at Lincoln. At Lincoln, we had nothing going. She scores 34 points. Picks up 2 charges in the last 45 minutes to help us win the game. And she is a young lady that is arguably the best player in Division II. It's a thrill to coach her every day, and we were not going to make the same mistake that we made against Lindenwood at the end of the Lindenwood game. She is going to touch the ball at the end of the game, and we're going to ride with her.
The team only had 1 rest day, and then they had to head to Joplin to face Missouri Southern. Were there any concerns given they only had 1 rest day and the Joplin or Missouri Southern, they had a whole week?
Well, a little bit, but a lot of times when you lose, you'd rather just come back and play right away. And so they had a whole week where they'd lost 2 games in a row, and so they were sure had a tough week of practice, and they're a little bit unsure of themselves. We came down there and played one of the smartest games I thought that we've played all year long. Played pretty much all zone because they came out with a big lineup. We were able to stop them offensively, and part of the reason is Bree Lewis is locked in right now, and not only is she scoring, but she is defensive rebounding very, very well. I know she had 9, I think, against Baptist defensive rebounds. She didn't shoot it very well, but she had 9 defensive rebounds, and against Southern, she had something very similar also.
Got you. Yeah, and speaking of the Jennies scoring 9 points off of 11 of the Lions' turnovers in the beginning of the second half, how did that help the team through the rest of the game?
Well, one of the things that we've done pretty well is stop turning it over ourselves. And so whenever another team turns it over, we're able to convert and make plays. Again, we played zone most of the time, which is kind of uncharacteristic for us as a program, but with the rule changes that have happened this year, it's imperative that you play zone just to keep people on the floor. Ravonia Howard gets in foul trouble all the time. The more zone we play, I think the better chances are that she's not going to just play 14 minutes a game, but she's going to get to play 22 to 25 minutes a game.
How do you incorporate that during practice?
Well, we try to work on our zone some, but a lot of teams get confused. They don't know that we're playing man or zone, and so we have to run we run a zone against their man offense a lot. And that's one of the things that we're looking for, shooting at the end of the year, that we know that Emporia State is is a team that we could possibly play a couple more times, and that's kind of the pinnacle, and that's the team that we've got to find ways to defend. And right now, that's what we're working on, is making sure that even when we play zone, we're able to guard their on-ball screening, so we're able to get some stops when it counts at the end of the game.
And how will that help? Because there are multiple teams that you play a second time towards the end. Is it helpful in the first games to kind of get a grip on what those teams are doing coming into the second time against them?
It sure is. And again, we can get online right now and see all the teams' games, but it sure helps to play them the second time. So we'll experiment sometimes when we know we're going to play a team twice in a row, like Southern, and we'll experiment the first time through just to kind of see what they're going to do. So if we need to make some adjustments, we can make an adjustment. Now that game was extremely weird because we were not planning on playing that much zone. But whether they changed their starting lineup and they had 3 bigs in, and there was no way we were going to match up very well man-to-man wise. So we went ahead and played zone, worked out well for us first 5-6 possessions, so we stayed in it the rest of the time.
Gotcha. And then the Jennies, they had a great game against Lincoln, defeating them by 26 points. You must have been proud about that.
Well, after we struggled so much at Lincoln, it was a game where we won by 1 point, and this was a team that had not beaten a Division II team, and they had a chance and probably could have beat us. I mean, probably should have beat us. We got a debatable charge call at the end. I am extremely happy that our kids came and played with some confidence and got the big win last night.
Got to correct myself. It was 36, not 26. Yeah, at the beginning of the game, there were quite a few fouls and mishap calls. What can you tell me about that?
Well, whenever we prepare for a game, we'll take a look at who the referees were, and we knew that this guy calls a lot of fouls, and he did. And we try to prepare our team and said, you're just going to have to back off a little bit because this is a guy that has a tendency to call a lot of fouls. And we have to make adjustments as team, as coaches, all the time. Even in the middle of a game, hey, sometimes the game gets too rough. All of a sudden, the whistle's going to be blown. Sometimes, let's say that they've called 7 fouls on the other team and 1 on us. We know that they're going to start calling some fouls on us. We've got to back off a little bit.
And the Jennies' turnovers have improved from 18 against Missouri Southern to 7 against Lincoln. What have you done in practice to make that improvement?
Well, that's kind of a deal where Lincoln, bottom line is, didn't have a lot of energy, and so they weren't going to do a lot of things, defensively to make us have to make some tough decisions. But I tell you what, another thing that I've been very happy with is BreAnna has been inserted into the starting lineup. In the last 2 years, it seemed like she was always our finisher or closer. We put her in at the end of the game. We're going ahead and start her now, and she will still be a closer. But we do have a 3-headed monster there at point guard, so we got 3 kids that can go in there and play point.
On the 15th, the team heads to St. Charles to face Lindenwood. Again, like I had said, the Jennies fell to the Lady Lions by 1 point on January 25th. What are your hopes in the second matchup, given it's on their court?
I can guarantee you this much. If it comes down to the end of the game, Kiana Flax will have the ball in her hands. And I'd like to think it won't come down to that. I think we're playing much better right now. Lindenwood caught us in a streak where when we started the conference season after Christmas, we had 4 games in 8 days. And the end of it was Pittsburgh on a Thursday, which we played an overtime game. Then we had to go to Emporia on a Saturday, and they defeated us. Well, everybody just kind of took a deep breath after that, and instead of refocusing and getting ready to play our pot in the conference, we just played not to lose. And so we had 3 or 4 games in a row where we did not play with a lot of energy, a lot of confidence. And now, all of a sudden, we beat Lincoln by 1 at Lincoln. We come back to Lindenwood at home after we had a 21-game home winning streak and played about the same way and end up losing that ball game. So right now we're in a different phase. We're playing with a lot more emotion and confidence, and it's fun to play basketball again.
All right. Thanks so much, Coach. Coming up next, we'll have the spotlight of the Jennies senior guard, BreAnna Lewis. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Page. BreAnna Lewis has had a great season with an average of 13.7 points per game and scoring her high at 26 points. Let's see what makes her so effective.
Where did I really get my start in basketball? I want to say it was just around my neighborhood I grew up in. I know that my dad, he was really good in basketball, so maybe I got it from him. What made me want to continue my basketball career is just dreams. I want to make dreams come true that I always had or have about being a professional basketball player. Yeah, actually, there are several people that's been my motivation to me, that pushes me. I want to say first my family, my dad, my mom, my grandma, they just all want me to do good, no matter if it's on or off the court. They just always want me to do good at whatever I do. And my high school basketball coach, my teammates, Kiana Flex, she a big motivation to me too. The difference between this team and last year's team is I think we got more tougher than last year. We obviously got more big players. Revo, she a big difference in the team. And we just more hungry than last year. We wanted more this year. Actually, we want to improve every day, every practice, every game. We got a lot to improve on. We need to work harder on better defense and communicating more, playing with each other more, and just hustling hard more, putting more effort into everything. Yeah, I think Coach Slifer, he changed his style than last year. I think he wants it more than we want it too. He a bit pushy than last year. That's what we need. I think we need that from him. How do I describe my relationship with all the coaches? All of them are pretty good. Coach Keeper, he's my favorite though. Coach Slifer, we get along good. Coach S, she's one of my favorites too, and Coach Shipley, she all right. How do I describe my relationship with the players and the team as a whole is, it's different from each one of them, the players and the coaches. I mean, we all get along though. I love all of them like they're my family. Basically, they are my family. Yeah, we have a good team chemistry, by the way, off the court. We all like to chill at each other's houses or just maybe library or just study together sometimes, have fun, watch movies, listen to music, things like that, talk about things in the games and what we need to do better, stuff like that, argue with each other, laugh with each other. It's pretty good. Are there any individual goals? Well, first I want to graduate. I want to get my degree in criminal justice. That's what I want to do that for myself. And on the court, it's just gonna speak for itself. I just gotta continue to play hard. Maybe I can answer that question in the next interview. Yes, I do consider myself a superstitious player. I like to look nice. I gotta have certain type of tights, certain type of leggings, my headband. You know, I like to wear my headband. I just do different things. I chose red because it's a good look for me, on and off the court, in classroom. I mean, it seemed like it's perfect for me, so why not? My advice I would give to a freshman or anybody coming here is to just do the best you can do with whatever you do, no matter what it is. Just make sure you do your best and make sure you're happy and love what you do.
Thank you to BreAnna Lewis for choosing red, sharing her insights and effectiveness on the Jennies team. Up next, Alex will give you the rundown on the upcoming Mules and Jennies events. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Here's a look at the upcoming schedules. Mules basketball will tip off at 3 p.m. on February 15th in St. Charles, Missouri against the Lindenwood Lions. The Mules won 77-58 at home in their last meeting on January 25th. Jennies basketball will tip off at 1 p.m. on February 15th in St. Charles, Missouri against the Lindenwood Lady Lions. The Lions won in a nail-biter 71-70 in their last meeting on January 25th. The MIAA Championships will be held in Hays, Kansas on February 16th at 9 a.m. The Mules wrestling team is currently 6-6 on the season. The UCM track and field teams will travel to Allendale, Michigan for the Grand Valley State University Big Meet. The meet starts at 11 a.m. on February 14th and will continue on February 15th starting at 11 a.m. Jennies softball heads to Bentonville, Arkansas for the Arkansas Monticello Softball Classic from February 14th to the 16th. They will play 6 games spanning 3 days. The Jennies are currently 2-2 on the season. And with that, we conclude this edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page. Tune in next week to learn more on the UCM Mules and Jennies athletics. For the entire crew here at KMOS-TV, I'm Alex Greenlee.
And Devin Negretti saying thanks for watching the Central Missouri Sports Page here on KMOS-TV Missouri PBS.
Support for Sports Page is provided by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs, campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg, Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.